Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's that time again. It's the Split Peak Soup Podcast. I'm your host, Neil Carney, and I'm here today with a special guest, Brock Johnson. He's a stuntman. He's a wild guy, and he's here to just rap out with us. So super stoked to have him, and it's a beautiful day here in Santa Cruz. The waves are firing and the sun is out, so no reason not to have a good conversation. So, Brock, super stoked that you came on. Thanks for cruising by.
Yeah, Neil, it's a pleasure to be here. Stoked. We've been talking about this for a while, and really happy to be here. And pretty cool. My second podcast, and the first one was with a kind of jujitsu CrossFit dude, and we were like trying to correlate on stuff, and then now we got a surfer and yoga, lifestyle, natural rad dude here. So
Sick.
That's gonna be cool to kind of touch base and go over a lot of surfing stuff and how my stunts correlate a lot with surfing, because that's what I do. I surf the bike, and
you're a surfer.
I'm a surfer. I grew up surfing Pleasure Point. Grew up actually on 25th Avenue, right across from Nelly.
Yeah.
So pretty rad seeing John over there when he was close to a Grom almost. So, like younger, not like got a company now and world famous, but like rad John, like ripping John.
Yeah.
I mean, he still rips, but
yeah, Nelly's just
cool.
He's the man. So many different characters coming through that pad over the years, and And now Nelly is living in Hawaii. He just shipped off over there, and I'm not sure if he sold his house, but Nelly, we love you, and we hope you're doing well over there in the islands, brah. But yeah, dude, this will be a great conversation, and we can flow and touch on a bunch of different things. And I think one thing that's really great about Santa Cruz and the extreme kind of sports that are fostered here is that we can have conversations be from different disciplines and be able to, touch base and to relate with each other about what we're doing. And, I grew up skating and stuff too. So, definitely not skilled on the bike, but it's something that I respect. And yeah, you came on my radar. I first started seeing you kind of cruising around, surfing in the water from time to time, like at the Mo and in the point, and kind of cruising with like Skim Shady sometimes, getting flips and stuff. And then as a rider, I was notified that you were doing some like super nuts stunts on your bike, and we'll get into all that. That's going to be a great conversation to have. But just to start things out, you're kind of fresh off of the plane from Montana, right?
Yeah, Whitefish, Montana. It's a little kind of local town. Really reminds me a lot of Santa Cruz. As weird as that is to say, a mountain town in the middle of it's actually closer to northwestern Montana, up towards BC. So it gets really cold, gets really good snow. I kind of correlate it to as like my Indo.
Okay.
That sounds super crazy, but like all the surfers from Santa Cruz, they like go to Indo every summer or go to Bali, it's like my Hawaii, it's like my little getaway, and I'll go for like the whole winter. And then just a little over a week ago, I was doing a big old backflip, like 15-foot backflip over a big old tabletop. And I'm mocking into the thing. I was like, boop, 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 boop. And I air over this knuckle because I hit it once. It was straight air. And I was like, okay, I'm going to land. It was only like a 5-foot landing. It was a bike jump that snow went over. So it was just like super motocross style, just like all gnarly. And I was like, okay, I'm coming this thing. Come over this little knuckle, and I'm going, I think I've got the right speed, but I cased the knuckle. So after that, I'm like full straight line. So I end up going like way too fast than I needed to. And then I hit the flip and then flipped way too quick. So I'm almost rotating into a double.
Nuts.
And I had a little GoPro clip, and I watched the thing over, and I flew like 5 feet past the landing.
Yeah.
And then I kept rotating. So I was almost on my nose at that point, like way where I didn't want to be. And I just landed right on the nose, and the board actually snapped.
Nah.
And then, I don't know, I was all spooked, because I'm trying to roll out stunts. I got companies sending me all sorts of stuff, drones, I got like a insurance lawyer dude that's been wanting me to promote his, like attorney business. So
Sick.
it's like all the stuff I'm trying to get out, and it'll all come at once. It's kind of like I got nothing to do, and then you're like all backed up. So I was like, oh shoot, I don't know, my knee's messed up, but I just got some good news yesterday actually. That's just a tear. I got a big dent in my quadricep. So but yeah, we'll touch into that. Injuries. It's kind of a weird thing that it happened on my snowboard. Like, I was talking to one of my girlfriends about it, and she's like, oh yeah, and you get hurt on your snowboard out of all the things. I'm like, yeah, go figure.
Yeah.
But
well, you are kind of nuts though. You do push the envelope with everything you do. So that's kind of sometimes you don't know. You might fucking trip and break your nose walking across the street,
dude. Right. You think you got it all figured out, and then bam, like wake up call. I really want to touch into some of that wipeouts on the bike. It's like those are the worst because you're going fast. I push it. Sometimes I'm going over 45 miles an hour. I gotta get a speedo out and like really. My buddies are all like, dude, you got to get that going because that's most of your comments like this kid's really mocking it, and and you got one of those little radar guns like jackass style, you like panning over the camera like he was going almost 60 miles an hour.
Just to make it official. And so how old are you now?
I'm 21. I turned 21 this year in October. It was pretty rad time. And then it also comes with like a lot of ups and downs. And then like growing up Santa Cruz is pretty hectic. There's a lot of like addiction lifestyles and quick ways to go south, especially when you're able to go out and party as much as you can. Like, I've kind of this year and going into it, I had a great mindset that, I want to be healthy. I don't want to go down a road where I'm not capable to do what I want to do. So I've really been, implicating like the sober lifestyle into what I do. And then that I've noticed like huge, like out in the water, I've been training and I'm like, wow, I'm actually paddling again. I'm breathing good. This is rad. I'm getting into more waves. And then on the bike, it's like, I have all these different, a lot of it comes with core strength. If you got a really strong core, the snowboarding, all that stuff, big landings, you're going to stomp it and you're going to feel really stable. Yeah. And when you go on those benders and, you get out of shape, you can lose all that in a few weeks. So I've been really trying to just dial it in and taking a bunch of killer natural supplements in the gym. Been going to the Santa Cruz Athletic Club, new gym over by Whole Foods. Pretty rad spot. It's like
squeaky new,
and it's a huge scene. And I'm like, I love to like people watch and just like some like bunch of barns.
Yeah, for sure.
It's pretty funny.
Meatheads.
Yeah, dude. There's guys on roids yelling and screaming.
Yeah. I work at a gym. I work at In Shape, so I see that a lot.
Oh, it's like In Shape on steroids.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool though, because I like it. It's like, you gotta find that like balance. Like I'd never do steroids, but I'm like, those guys are jacked. They are. Like, it'd be cool to have like some sort of physique like that, and if you can obtain it naturally, that's huge. It just takes time. People think like, 3 months I'm a look like Arnold. It's like, well, if you were taking like TRT and on your peptide protocol, you might get close to that. But I love natural. I'm all about being natural, staying natural, and that's just how things flow. I would never be able to do the things I do if I was, poisoning myself with a lot of things that are acceptable in this modern day world. People are like, it's okay to do steroids well,
look at Instagram and stuff now, dude. It's like, back in like when I was growing up, like in the early 90s and mid 90s and stuff, like there was all these like cautionary tales about like fucking 17 magazine or Vogue magazine or the media, like what an acceptable body image for a woman should be. So women had all this pressure from just around them, like picking up a magazine or turning on the TV every once in a while. And it's like now everyone's glued to their phone, and it's like a fucking it's a huge like a war for your attention. In that war, we're getting desensitized to like what the reality is, and now we've got all these like gym influencers, and like, dude, they're fucking roided up to the gills. They're gonna fucking keel over in the shower, dude, before they go to the gym. And it's like, I like the way that you're thinking, and for a young guy to be like that kind of in tune with the dangers of that kind of lifestyle. And you know, it's like, that's refreshing, because growing up, dude, I don't even have enough fingers and toes to count how many friends I've had die from drugs and stuff. And it's just like, what a shocker, dude. And so that's super killer to hear. And yeah, like just nothing like beats a clear mind. And I have really bad chronic pain, and you know, I smoked weed from like age 14 to 38, and then I kind of went on like a couple like dry spells, and then I got off it for a year, and I felt so good. And then I blew my back out like in around November, and I started like kind of, you know, every once in a while taking a couple of the weed gummies, and then that turned to every day. And next thing you know, I got a fucking vape pen, and I'm fucking stoned again. And I'm like, dude, this is lame. So January 1st, I quit it all again, and dude, I'm feeling so like my yoga instructions, like
refreshed,
so refreshed,
energized.
I feel killer, and like I can, I'm just like so much more like on my toes. So it's good that you're seeing that. You know?
Absolutely.
You know, like, sometimes shit happens, you know, if you kind of like find yourself slipping, you know, as long as you just pull yourself back up, then you're cherry, you know. It's just the danger is to go too deep.
Yeah.
So, but is that something like, I don't know, I'm probably like 18 years older than you, and so it's like it's harder for me to relate. But like in Santa Cruz, is that still an issue with like kids getting into like harder drugs and stuff? Like
sadly, absolutely. And I think it's more and more accessible now, and it's more and more dangerous. You know, we got a lot of stuff, especially in those harder drugs, that are really bad for you, and can little grain of it can kill you.
Yeah.
And it's sad. You know, I could probably say the same thing. I don't know if I could count on my fingers how many people I know that have lost their lives to this epidemic, which is, you know, it's been going on for years, but it's just getting, in my opinion, it's getting worse because it's just so accessible. And then it's almost like with the Instagram stuff, it's almost like words on the tip of my tongue, like produced or no, like glorified. Yeah, glorified. It's like all these like social media party gambling dudes that are like, you know, flexing with a bunch of fake cash and stuff and going on benders in Las Vegas. It's like, dude, you feel like shit probably. And like, cool, you got a Lamborghini and some supermodel with you, but you know, like, how do you really feel? Like,
they're probably renting them anyway.
Probably renting them, renting the chick and the Lambo.
Guaranteed, dude.
Yeah,
and what an empty feeling too, like to be getting all your self-worth from validation from fucking dipshits you don't even know, like liking your dude, you keep a small circle, and like, and then if you're making a positive change within that small circle, that must feel pretty good. But if you're making like a lame cardboard, you know, tissue paper impact on a huge level, then how are you gonna like go to sleep at night, like if you're intelligent and like feel good about yourself?
And then people just get so like into that, they just lose themselves. Like you can, and Instagram's kind of cool like that. You can kind of see, like, you're like, well, I followed that guy, he was really cool, but then he started like going in this weird like party scene, like politician, he's doing all this weird stuff now, and then like they gain a bunch of followers, but at the same time you're like, where did that like cool guy that I followed, I was like looking up to, getting some good workout advice, now he's just like completely out of his mind in Hollywood. But it's kind of weird that you could take it there. And I think the problem is, it's just like social media has got us so wrapped up in like always trying to do better. But like my thing is just like, I have stunt bucks. I got like 2 or 3 stunt bucks, and I just brainstorm. I'll go write all sorts of stuff. I want to jump off this bridge, Berryessa. I want to flip. It's like an 80-foot bridge. I want to go, you know, jump off that thing and try to like do a flip or something, like surf into it, hit it, go over. I did it up in Felton where I just surfed up the bridge, hit it, went over.
Sick.
I'm just trying to brainstorm all the stuff, and I'm like, I just stay in that, and that's the thing. You know, I'm touching a lot on Instagram right now because that's like you can take it big with just one social media platform. You know, and pretty cool. That's what I'm trying to get some reach. You know, it's really hard to like find a sponsorship or find a bike company, even like a clothing company. I could do some modeling, like do some fitness influencing for. It's super hard with what I actually do because I'm pushing to extremes. You know, it's like bike company will look at it like, yeah, we have a downhill rider. We have like this really good dirt jumper rider. We got this really good, like all around, like Cam McCall type dude. And then, you know, we got a BMXer on our team. And then it's like, okay, now where's the spot for this, you know, I get related to as crazy or psycho or maniac. And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I got a few screws loose, but I got this creative. It's like creativity can often be like so implemented with like all these mean, you know, terrible names that you're like, yeah, you know, you almost learn to embrace it and go, yeah, I am crazy. I am a maniac, but
yeah, you're calculated.
Yeah, I you know, research this stuff, research the hills. I'm always dialing in my tire pressure. I'll do rehearsals. I'll go out for like a week straight and just bomb every hill in Santa Cruz. I'll go over to Miramar and just do it. I've done Miramar a handful of times now, just off the rip, just bombing down Miramar, and that thing you're up going plus 45 miles an hour. So it's just like touching back with the sponsor thing. It's just like they can't really find a spot for me. I don't think they're like almost a liability at that point because they're like, this kid's so reckless. Like, what is he going to be sponsored by a year before he totals his bike? And then it's like, well, it could be a great year.
Yeah. Hey, why don't you like just while we're on the subject, just kind of let the viewers know and the listeners what exactly makes your type of bike riding unique?
Yeah. So there's a lot of kids in the United States, Colombia, Brazil, UK that actually do the same stunt I do. But we live in a very cool spot, you know, Santa Cruz, California. We got the mountains right there. With that being said, we have some of the steepest terrain in the world. I think it's like number 3. And I say it to people and they go, what, California? I'm like, yeah, like our summit right up there is close to 3,500 feet plus. There's some, 4,000 feet, 6,000 feet peaks up there. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's steep. So with that said, we got all these gnarly hills, and I kind of started surfing the bike and growing up Santa Cruz, surfing and skateboarding very early on, learning how to do it. I just developed this kind of confidence on it where it stopped feeling like a bike. When I get up on it, I'm like, and snowboarding. When I'm bombing the hills, like carving, I feel like, oh, this is like a snowboard line, like hitting my S turns. Like it's so well correlated, and the muscle memory from years of surfing, skateboarding, and snowboarding all tie into it. And like, it's just like rad feeling. I'll find like a sick little bank while I'm up there surfing it and just like hit it, boom, big old snap, and then like come on the same little bump and do like a little wrapping turn. I'm like, oh, that was like a roundhouse.
Yeah.
It's just like crazy. And it's really hard to explain because like it's such a niche thing where, you're standing on top of a bicycle and you have one foot on the seat and one foot on the handlebars. And then, tying back into all the different kids that do it. Most of the time I see it, they're just going straight down the road and like all sketchy, hunchback, like, shaking, and, they'll comment on my stuff and say, oh, I'll smoke this kid in a battle or something. And I'm just like, bring it. I got Santa Cruz Maniacs leader. He years ago, he said, I got, $3,000. I'll just fly out. And I got the bet. And I'll follow that up to this day. And I'll even get their flight and I win. I get you're paying for it. And you give me your cash, dude. Because I believe, I'd take it to the extreme. I would, battle them in a who can swerve between the cones, like that's like down at Huntington, like who can tic-tac and do the first air revo.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah.
Let's go up to San Francisco or Miramar, and like it's like correlating it to like
you're doing the Mavs.
I like to correlate it to like big wave surfing almost at a point where it's like you're dropping in, you're committing, or you're gonna wipe out, and it's gonna be brutal.
Yeah.
And you gotta like set your line and really read the, we'll tie into that like kind of cycle safety, reading the road.
Yeah.
Constantly reading the road, like, and that's a lot of my hate comes from like, oh, truck's gonna plow into them. Very strategic the way I do it. I have blockers at the different intersections, my buddies, and then I'm always thinking about that. Like some angry dude can just pull out right in front of my buddy. Like he's not gonna stop him. He's just standing there,
Yeah. And
what I do is I go down the middle of the road, and this is what a lot of like professional cyclists will do, and that's when you see like bikers, cyclists like right in the middle of the road, and they're like, what are you doing? Like get in the bike lane. Like they're actually trying to be more safe, because the farther you are actually in the road, you can see, because people come every different direction.
Right.
So if you're right in the middle and a car comes and tries to T-bone you, you have all the right lane to either go on the inside of them or all the left lane to go on the outside of them.
Yeah.
Not saying that you should ride in the middle of the road, but I always ride in the bike lane, especially here in town. It's just
But if you're doing a stunt.
But if I'm doing a stunt, I'll pick that middle line and kind of just roll with it, and then I'll be like, okay, there's two roads, so 2 right turns coming out, and I'll be looking at them. But at the same time, my eyes over here on the left, and I lock into this crazy like superhuman mode where like everything just slows down. Like I'll be going plus 45 miles an hour, but I'm just like, and like you just lock in, and all these little, you'll hear all the little like skipping over the platelets of the concrete, and you're just like, the bike starts, the tires start heating up, and you just get this like floating feeling. It's just, you just lose all contact with this adamant object, and it's just like I said, it'll turn into like a little surfboard, and you're just like surfing through the streets, and
you're on the flow state.
That's what I can't explain to people. Like, why do you do that? Like, how is it really that fun? I'm like, well, you'd have to get up on the thing and go plus 45 miles an hour and figure it out for yourself.
Yeah. Fuck, it's so nuts.
Yeah.
The footage of you is just like so incredible. I mean, and I think, for the average person to like even stand on the beach and watch like a surfer riding like a big wave, they're like, people have gone up to me and don't surf. They're like, I don't even know how you do it. And it's just like, well, dude, like, watching what you do, that's really hard for even someone who, like me, who's grew up surfing big waves and stuff, to be like, how the fuck does he do that? And my big question is, I guess, you touched on it with like the core strength and stuff like that, but just balance. Then you would probably talk about, your experience surfing, skating.
Yeah.
And then were you always like a risk taker as like a kid? Like,
I was kind of a wild child. I grew up with 2 older brothers, so they're kind of always pushing me. I was looking up to them, seeing what they were doing. And then just kind of growing up in Santa Cruz, we got so many rad surfers here and rad people. I was a Grom. I was sponsored by a few different companies. O'Neill, Stretch Surfboards used to make me some killer little Grom boards, like potato chip 4/8. It was classic. But kind of just having that great structure, it's a blessing to grow up here in Santa Cruz. It's definitely not a lot of people just refer to as like a privilege. It's like, no, this is a blessing. Like you're in a space, and that's why I just go for it so much. I have all this great blessings in my life and things that have just came and gone, and it really puts you in a spot to just want to excel it to the max. And at the same point, like staying in your realm, like slowly progressing, like that's really what I've been trying to dial in, and keep it, sort of tamed, because once you get like a little too ahead of yourself, that's when it starts getting really dangerous. So maybe like doing the same thing twice, like,
right.
like trying to stomp your air revo perfect before you go for a full rotation type of deal, or trying to get your 900s really dialed in before you do a 1080. So kind of like that sort of deal.
Yeah. And so like it probably started out with you just like, you know, on flat ground, just kind of just like
absolutely
figuring it out. And then, you know, talk about the evolution, you know, and then in that evolution, like, do you have your like, I know that you went up to SF and did a fucking giant hill up there a couple times, I know. And but what's the Mount Everest of like Brock Johnson's like spike surfing like career? Like what,
like where I want to go kind of
yeah,
deal.
like what, do you have your eyes on anything? Like, I mean, you can't get much nutser than as far as like residential or like streets in San Francisco. But, yeah,
what I'm taking it into, and what I've gotten some really good feedback from is actually not on the streets, off terrain.
Okay.
I did a few times up in the redwoods, some on like a little local commuting trail, which is, they do a really good job maintaining those. So it's, you know, but I was going down and kind of hitting the little canyon, you know, where the water comes through, and then going over a little jump and then through the redwoods. But another time I actually just took it and I was just, oh, this is gonna look rad. I'm just gonna go down the side of the hill. Like I'm gonna go off the trail, find like a nice little slope, you know, with all these little bushes and logs going across. I'm just gonna bomb it. I ate it a few times, hit my nuts, you know, sitting there, you know, all bummed out. And then the next one I got up and I was just bombed it and like went over a log and was just like, oh, it was such a trip. I was actually, for the first time, I was actually like losing traction while I was on top of the bars, like drifting the thing or like doing a turn, like arcing, like, you know, like crazy. It was so wild. And that's like, for me, that was like the full, like as far as I'm gonna push it and like where I want to take it, because I kind of saw that aspect where I was like, well, I can like hit this like a powder turn, and like, because like redwoods up here, they shed a lot of leaves, so it's like super, you know, when you get your bike in there, it's really loose, and just like one little turn this way, your whole back tire will swing out. And then like evolving to get there, like oh gosh, I've been doing this since I was about 12 or 13, and I would never think I'd be surfing it in the forest, like. So it's just kind of started, going straight, and then like talked about a lot of other people are kind of like all hunchback, and like they're like that because they're trying to get as close to the bars as they can. If they slip, so they can grab on the bars and kind of you know, keep it under control. Because it's brutal when you fall off from the top of the bike, and that's extra 4 feet.
Right.
Sometimes we're at 29-inch bikes, it's like extra 5 or 6 feet.
Sure.
And then you add trajectory, going 45 miles an hour, you get launched like 10, 15 feet one way or the other, that you did not want to go that way. But I was once that, you know, hunchback, you know, just got my hands off the bars, but quickly, it was in a matter of days. Like literally, I did it once for like 5 feet, and then I was just like, okay, I'm gonna stand up and like really rock it. And I was, you know, I went straight for a little while, but it was just like a week later, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go this way, and you steer with your front foot, and you kind of lean in it with your back foot, and it's all about kind of evolution. I used to ride the SE bikes, and they're really easy, like self-customized. It's just a big size BMX.
Okay.
And they're really simple. You know, like you can pretty much tune the thing just with an Allen wrench. Or, you know, and a little wrench for your back tire. And I was just like figuring out, and just, I never really paid too much attention in school, but like I understand shit like really well if I look at it, you know? So it's just like I was tweaking with my handlebars and stuff, and I found if you tilt your front handlebar back a little bit, and you have your seat like tilted this way, you're creating like down pressure. And then I just like got all wicked with it. I'm like, forward down pressure momentum, forward down pressure momentum. And I think about it every time I surf the bike still. Now I evolved from using that pressure, and it was kind of like a little cheat code, to I ride a dirt jumper now. And the SE bikes had a flat bar on top. So this is kind of like the evolution. Now I'm doing it on like a full dirt jumper mountain bike. and it's got, you know, the style bars that hoop down. So my foot's not even fully solidly planted on them anymore. I kind of have to, you know, get this like weird angle going. You know, I know if you guys that make bars, I'm kind of wanting to touch into them, but with that weird hoop angle, I'm almost getting a little more traction because I'm kind of hooking my foot in there.
I hear that.
Kind of putting my toe and
wedging it, kind of.
Yeah, and then having my, you know, the foot a little tweaked, and then I'm almost opening up my angles. Like snowboarding, if you have more of like an angle this way or that way, you could like, it'll really open up your turn. So that's kind of like rad that I could correlate that and you know, find your angles. That's what snowboarders always try and do, because you're locked into the thing. You can't move. But on the bike, you can. I actually, a lot of the other guys that do bike surfing, they put grip tape on their handlebars.
Oh, whoa.
And I learned early on, I tried that, and because I never did it before, I always just metal bars, some nice Vans shoes that are really grippy on metal, and just rocked with it. And I think that's where I get so wicked with it, because I am actually moving my foot on top of things, not fully planted.
Yeah.
And I tried the grip tape, and I was like, oh, if I go too far this way and my foot's locked up, I'm just going to bail.
Yeah.
But if I go too far this way and I got the nice little slippy metal, I just do my little, you know, it's all about, you know, micro adjustments, and you're boom, back standing up.
Yeah.
Know? It's just like crazy. And to evolve from 29-inch BMX down to a 26 dirt jumper, and having your foot planted in different ways, and you can take it, so you can have different angles, you can be more flat. I've been like trying to dial in this like super gnarly like power stance, like one foot down here, like another foot up here, because the dirt jumpers are very angled like that for like doing jumps. It's totally not meant for what I do. The BMX are actually a lot better for that, but I'm like trying to dial it in where I'm in this like karate stance, like whoa. And it's sick, because like it just you know, that's, you know, it's like, you know, like all like, you know, Thai funk, like weird stuff, dude. You're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like you go try to push someone over doing that gnarly stance, and they're just like
locked in,
like ready to like kick you. And then like, you get some guy just standing all straight in his surf stance, and you go and push him over. Either way, you probably like fall right over. So.
Dude. Well, yeah. Speaking of falling, you know, like let's just kind of like, I can't even imagine. So, like, okay, what the fuck? Like, what's your kind of like success rate? You don't want to like jinx yourself, but like, it seems like it must be pretty good if you're here talking with me with like backs that's straight and not broken, you know?
Yeah. So over the years, I've kind of dialed in, like, I want to make it. Like, I don't want to wipe out, especially when I'm going at those speeds. Like, it's not something I really want to think about at all. So I kind of just dial it into exit plans, you know. If it starts getting shaky, bailing it down back to the bars. Yeah. You know, you really want to avoid getting bucked off the bike, and then kind of dialed in from the 29-inch, because you're a lot higher. You got these bigger wheels, and main thing is watching your pedals, because I've had one of my most brutal wipeouts. Pretty sure the pedal, I'll do this thing called a pedal scrape. I'll like carve so gnarly, the pedal will hit the ground and then buck back up.
Oh, fuck.
But you know, you're trying to get that angle, and then it's not pushing it too hard, like more style, like back and forth, not just like. Yeah, I see that a lot. Like a lot of different bike surfers are just trying to get like as radical as possible. Like I can do that. I like doing that, but when you get close to like 35, 45 miles an hour, your bike will actually lock up. Yeah. You're not doing that. So like, that's what I take it to. Like, sick, you're swerving down the road, but you can't, your bike's gonna lock up, and you're gonna go, that's the rad part. Like, I get this, G-force going down where like the bike will almost start you're riding with the bike almost at some points. So the
bike's riding you,
dude. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sick. Well, yeah, I could see that. And, like, how flashy do you need to get? Like, you can have style, and at the end of the day, it's all about coming home from the mission, and it sounds like they've kind of like sorted out a good approach to that. And then like what about, do you like case the street before to like get shit out of like off the road and stuff?
I will the big hills, I'll just walk up it. A lot of people say like, one pebble, he's cooked or whatever. That's like a funny saying now. Everyone says you're cooked. I'm like, what does that really mean, dude? Like, you're fried.
Internet slang.
But it's like, no, really not. I can actually roll right over a pebble, especially at certain speeds. You're just gonna go buck right over that pebble. I mean, like a big rock, you're gonna eat it. But that's kind of stuff I'm looking for, like, bigger rocks, like, big 1-inch rocks, or like, stuff. I'll kick them out of the way or throw them in the gutter when I'm going up. But most of the time, like big hills, like they're pretty well pretty well ran. So if cars go over them, like there's usually not a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a big steep hill. So if there's something, it's like usually just roll out of the way. But I'll case it for sure. I'll just like get off my bike at the bottom. When I did Standing Street in San Francisco, I had my buddies drop me off at the bottom, and they were tripping on me. They're like, dude, are you really gonna do this? Like, you don't have to do it. And I was just like, just stop. You guys just gotta stop talking and get the cameras out and go film the thing, because I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they know me, and they're like, okay, he's like, we can't stop Brock now because he's got his mindset to it. He's gonna do it. So I just like grab my bike, bail out of my buddy's little Subaru, and just walk up the thing. And I'm just looking at it, and I'm looking at these lines, like. A lot of the big hills, like San Francisco hills, Miramar, they have these lines because they're not like super smooth black pavement, like the first steep parts of them, like the old school, like big kind of concrete style pavement, like big slabs.
Yeah.
So you can kind of like follow those lines. Like you can almost get like right in the ridge while you're bumping down, like right to the side of them. And then like you want to follow those lines kind of, because like when those lines end, that's where the bump usually is, like where that meets the new modern pavement. So I'm kind of always just like, okay, there's that bump there. I'm gonna go like 2 feet to the right of this line, and it's like still a little sketchy, but it's pretty smooth. And then I'll like do it once and be like, okay, that was a little sketch, so I'm gonna go a little bit that way, and you're just kind of like finding a little line, and then with as much as you can do, and that's really what I've been trying to push, is like safety while I'm doing it, because there's been some pretty brutal wipeouts. One I can really recount on where I wasn't sure if I was gonna be okay. Like when the initial impact hit, I didn't know what was happening. I was pretty risking it a lot. I wasn't even wearing a helmet.
Right.
So and there was a few factors that, sound, just out of the bizarre type deal. I don't know if you ever seen like the professional snowboarders and stuff, that they'll like sometimes not wear a helmet when they're just cruising around the park or whatever, or even hitting a 40-foot booter. But a lot of the time they take their goggles and they're wearing beanies, You think that like that little bit of material is not going to do much, but I think it almost saved my life. That one night I bailed. I was coming down Water Street, and I rocked some nice Oakleys now with wind blockers on the side, that because I get going so fast, my eyes will water. So I early on when that was happening, my brilliant idea was wear snowboard goggles.
Yeah.
So I had a pair of snowboard goggles with my beanie, and I was bombing down Water Street, just like people see how they go, what is this kid doing? He's got snowboard goggles on his head, like riding his BMX around, like what is going on?
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I don't, I'm just, you don't even know. Like that's what makes it so funny. Like I love weirding out people. It's like, look at me with my snowboard goggles. I'm gonna stare right at you.
Yeah.
But yeah, bombing it, Water Street. It's like 30 miles an hour. Like it's all painted on that thing. And cars will follow me behind, and I've gotten whipped into it by a truck, and my buddy says going 45, like when he whipped me in. And
fuck,
you pretty much keep like, I don't know super scientific terms, but like you reach a point of acceleration when you're going down a hill that you can't accelerate much more. Like you're kind of maxing out the speed because your trajectory, how much you weigh, how fast the bike's rolling, it just kind of maxes out with the gradient of the hill.
Yeah.
So, I kind of estimate that hill out about like over 30. It's not a super fast one, but you go over the the written speed limit. So I was doing that, and I was on the 29-inch big bike BMX. Rob Dyrdek, SE Bikes made that bike for Big Black. You remember Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory? Yeah, Big Black wanted a BMX that fit him. Like, dude, it's huge. You know? So they made him a 29-inch BMX, and 29-inch wheels, like that's about as big as the bikes get before it's like some ridiculous circus 32-inch bike, you know. So I was coming down on that thing, and at that point you're like, you stand on top of that thing, and it's got like, you know, almost a foot riser bar. You're close to like 5 feet in the air already. So I was coming down, and I had the snowboard goggles on. It was at nighttime, and there's these street lights. So you're like douche, 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 and at the bottom there's these, I don't know if I think they're redwoods or like little trees, you know, and they block a lot of light. So I was like, oh, it's kind of sketchy. Like I can barely see. I got these tinted snowboard goggles on, and I'm all trying to swerve, you know, turn back and forth. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna, you know, take these things off. So I took them off and like put them on the back of my head. And then I think it was like the next turn after that, I got like a little ahead of myself. I'm all, oh yeah, like boom, hit this like nice big carve, and just like, I know, like I was talking about the pedal scrape thing. I wasn't sure if my pedal hit the ground or what happened, but it was just like split. Like I barely even I can recall it happening, but like what happened after that was just kind of blank, because the bike just went, poof, just boom, just the thing just went like, I recall the handlebars just completely straight, and they just went, boom, the tire went completely sideways, and it just, you know, because my foot was on there, it just completely threw me off the bike, and it threw me off in such a gnarly way where like most of the time I bail like at a certain speed, like not too fast. I can kind of get my feet under me and like roll out of it and like get a little road rash, but it was just so gnarly. It went funk and just boom, just boom. It was just so hectic. Like I'm trying to recall it and just like bring some excitement into it, because it was just like so gnarly. Like it just made me fly backwards, and I'm flying backwards through the air.
Whoa.
And I flew, like, I kind of estimated after I woke up from the whole thing, like, my bike was like 15 feet that way. My beanie was like 15 feet that way. And then the goggles, tie into that, the goggles were like another 15 feet that way.
Yeah.
And I was, I think one of my shoes fell off or something. Yeah. But I got flung backwards. I'm like, oh shit, you know, brace, you know, I'm going to smack the ground. I'm going so fast, and I just got flung off my bike, like, you know, 5 feet in the air, and, you know, flew. Like, I literally flew like 10 feet to where I hit.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, here it comes. So luckily I did kind of get my foot under me.
Oh, wow.
But that just, you know, nothing happened. And then I smacked my ass, you know, just boom.
Yeah.
That was like, okay, I'm hitting the ground really hard. So then the next thing, you know, I get my elbows behind me and try to brace. My elbows just smacked, you know, scrape my butt, you know, scrape my elbows. And I'm like, oh shit, like that was not it. I'm not rolling. I'm going to smack, you know. Mm-hmm. So I just braced and just like hit my shoulders back, and then all of a sudden it was just like the gnarliest feeling I've ever felt. Like, dude, it was so brutal. It was just like, boom, just smacked my head, just whiplash, just all of force from flying 30 miles an hour, going 10 feet, and then just straight to the pavement, and my head just snapped straight back and just smacked the pavement. And those snowboard goggles and that beanie, there were some scratches on the goggles afterwards.
Yeah.
It went like boom and just blew them right off my head. But I was like thinking, like, if I wasn't wearing those, like, what would have happened?
Yeah.
Because I think I lost consciousness for, you know, very sparse amount of time. I was like very close to getting knocked out. I wasn't quite sure. Like usually when you don't know, you probably did get,
sure.
You know. So and then I kind of rolled after that. So I remember like coming around like when I kind of stopped rolling. So I was like,
yeah,
oh shit. And then I got up, and it was the weirdest thing. I put my hand on my head, and I was like, I lost my head. Like I thought I just like fucking blew open the back of my head. Like I was like, you know, I couldn't see too much, you know, I was really blurry vision and seeing stars and all this stuff. And I was just like, oh shit, you know, this is brutal. And I like got up and, you know, got all my shit out of the road. And I was like, I was so in pain. Like Water Street, and I live over Midtown. So I like got on my bike and I was trying to pedal. This guy actually saw me bail, and it's really weird. He's coming back from like teaching kids like taekwondo or jujitsu or something like that, and he was like, I was like, did you see me fall? Like I don't like I don't know, like I don't know if I'm good. Like I was just so in just awe, and fuck, it was a trip. He was like, I saw you fall, and he's like, I'm just coming back from taekwondo practice or whatever. And it's all, it looked like you knew what you were doing. And I'm like, all right, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up skating and stuff, so like, you know, you learn to kind of tuck and roll, but like, it was not how I wanted to do it. I got literally completely turned around, and I was looking back up the hill.
Whoa.
When I fell, and it was just like, that's gotta be one of the most brutal ones. And that one was like a wake up call. Like when you do this, you should be definitely wearing your helmet. And you know, the aftermath, I, you know, got done talking with the guy and walked. I couldn't even ride my bike. My bike was pretty fucked up too, I think. And I walked up the hill, and I was just like, oh, I felt so gnarly. I was like nauseous, just like all, you know, fuzzy brain. And I finally got home. I think I just walked my bike home with my hands on my handlebars like this, just like limping home, just all in bad shape. And I got home, and I was all spooked because I didn't want to go to sleep because I knew I was like a bad concussion. But I remember I ended up just passing out, and I woke up, and it was just like so brutal. Like all 4 muscles in my neck were completely locked. I couldn't look this way. I couldn't look that way.
Whoa.
For like a few days, and I was just like, fuck, that was a gnarly one. And you know, you don't really want to take a lot of those, so you kind of dial it into having like a plan and not doing, you know, at nighttime, a little sketchy, you know, make sure there's lighting and stuff like that. But that was one of my most brutal wipeouts, and one that I'll never forget. I think I could be 80 years old with dementia and be like, I fell off my bike.
Yeah, that's so fucking crazy. Well, and you didn't even have anyone with you, or solo too. That's probably another kind of sketchy thing, right?
That was super sketchy. I went over scenarios. I was like, dude, what if like I got really messed up and I'd be lying in the middle of the road in the dark.
Yeah.
And then just get like ran over by a car or something. Like it was brutal. So like having a good support team. I talked to like some lady in the sauna, like super weird combo. She's like, yeah, I was a professional athlete. I was like, oh, cool. And she's like, yeah, I did, it was CrossFit. She's a professional like CrossFit chick. And I was like, well, that's like super niche. Like, that's pretty cool. And she's like, but I really needed like, she's like, you have a support team? And I'm like, I got a few buddies with iPhones, and they're total pothead, you know, crazy freaking guys. And they're like, okay, well, she's like, you should really have a physical therapist and like, you know, like psychology, like really dial it in and like make sure you're doing good. And I was like, that's a pretty good idea. Like, I think, you know, you tie in those factors of like pressure. Like I never am pressured into it because no one's doing it. It's not like, hey dude, I bombed left bowl at Mavericks and pulled that braille. You gotta do it now. Like, show it. And it's like, no one's bombing left bowl of Stanton Street or Miramar. It's just like, you don't get that when you get to a level where you're doing stuff that people aren't. It's about like dialing it in yourself. Like you're like, okay, I'm thinking ahead of myself a little bit. Let's just dial it in. Let's go case it. Let's really dial it. Let's not just go straight to the top and bomb it. Let's look at it. And it's just like you're doing stuff that's never been done before.
Pioneering.
Yeah.
But you know, like you said, you know, you can kind of get feedback from other people from other disciplines and kind of see like what are these guys doing. And that's why I think it's like smart that you're like super focused on your fitness and your health, and like keeping your mind clear. Like, okay, let's just get down to the fact of the matter is that you're doing something that's like really high cost of fucking up. And so if as much as the factors that you can dial in to make sure that you get to go home at the end of the night and, go to sleep without thinking that you're going to fucking die, after cracking your head. And wow, man, that's gnarly. One thing I was going to say about the, that wipeout that you had, and I think most people who get into like a serious like wipeout doing whatever it is, like even if you're just riding the bike, or like if you're going fast, if you hit concrete, if you're going like on a big wave, you hit your board, like that moment of like, it's like almost like to me, it's like almost like life becomes like crystal clear, like, the reality or the illusion of life is almost like put into like sharp relief, where you're like, it's almost like you took a psychedelic, like the life in that split second is more real than anything that's ever happened.
Dude.
But then like in that moment where you're so scared, you're like, I'm touching the back of my head. I don't know if I'm going to have like brain matter on my hand. Like that's a sketchy thing. And it's like, you probably might not feel more alive than any other moment than that. But like, dude, you want to walk away from moments like that. With, your health.
It does. Yeah. And like the psychedelic drug, like I was high for like 3 days after that, just on dopamine from, your body spikes crazy brain chemicals when stuff like that goes down to keep you rolling and to keep you, limping your bike home or whatever it is, paddling back to shore, or you're in the cold, you're in the freezing cold, and you got to hike down the mountain after you just, broke your leg or something wicked, it's like, I remember waking up the next morning, I called one of my buddies and I was like, dude, and he's like, oh no, like he kind of had a feeling. He's all, what happened? I was on my bike last night, and he's all, oh no. Well, dude, I hit, dude, like bad wipeout. And he was just like, oh no, are you okay? And I was just like, the whole time I was just in like full euphoria. Like I felt everything, like all the words like coming out of my mouth, all weird. Like you're just like on a super high vibration. And like, that's kind of like, it was kind of like a second chance, like another like a little, boom, you're rocking it to the extreme right now, and kind of dial it back, and then dial it in. I got like a bunch of little weird sayings like dial it in, dial it back, recall, revise, and recall. I'll do it like 3 times. Just like say weird stuff to myself, and people are like, "What are you doing, dude? Like talking to yourself?" I'm like, "Dude, just I'm chill." Like,
Trust me.
This is my little zone.
Yeah. Well, dude, it's interesting that conversation, and this is just something that I'm super intrigued in, and I don't ever give up an opportunity to like rant about it, but I'm like obsessed with there's a chemical, it's a molecule that is produced endogenously in our bodies, and that means that we naturally produce this chemical. This is a chemical that modern science, they're trying to figure out, but they don't have any idea why it is that our bodies, they find it within us, and it's called dimethyltryptamine, and it's DMT. And that's like the world's strongest psychedelic, and it's what they use in the ayahuasca. And like if you smoke it, like vaporize it, you can basically like leave your body. You have this like feeling of being contacted by like entities and like outside of you, intelligent like aliens. They can do operations on you and stuff, and it's almost weird, like when you said that, like it's like you're on this natural high. You probably almost had like because the DMT, they have a theory that it's so closely related with near-death experiences. Like people who, they fucking trip balls. It could be like an initiation, high trauma, a mystical state through like yoga or breath work or something like this. And then also with extreme sports, they find that these mystical experiences can happen. It sounds like it was probably a scary one, but you probably tapped into some like natural DMT, dude. Fucking doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that could definitely happen. I've kind of heard about that, like weird survival stories where like I saw something come out of the clouds, and like right before the boat got there and pulled me out of the water, like I saw a UFO or something wicked, and it's just like, yeah, you're tripping.
Yeah, well, dude, or maybe you're so alive in that moment you actually see past the illusion of what we are. Because, dude, evolution is created, like they talk about the simulation theory. Like maybe like there's a high probability that if a civilization gets to a high enough technological point that they can recreate experience through a simulation. And, you know, it goes on and on and on. And it's like, well, you're kind of like, if you really think about it, our brains are simulating our reality at all times. Because if we really saw the full spectrum of the electromagnetic field or the ultraviolet field, or if we could see or experience all the vibrations that are around us, it's like we'd probably fucking not be able to walk down the street. So our brains just like, our brains just like tune us into this little where we can go through life and get things done. But there's certain times when that might just all break down. Like I'm sure that, I mean, who knows what we're in, if it's a technological simulation or if like, for me, it's like a simulation or a creation. It's like if I was created by a god, like I don't see much difference between like me being like a fucking computer program or like a creature of like some like god like in the sky or something, you know. Like, dude, it's weird, bro. Get me on a tangent here and I'll start like
I like it. That's kind of like distant reality type deal. Like, are you really in what you're thinking, or like every day are you doing something that you don't even know is like what life's all about? And I kind of like tapping into stuff like that, like putting the phone down, and like if you want to be, you know, weird and, you know, modern, just stare at your phone all day and you'll really feel, you know, you'll have a headache, you'll feel like shit, and just like have a bunch of weird ideas, like seeing the terrible stuff online, that if you just kind of tune that out and go outside, look at the sun, and like I like to do like grounding and stuff, like stick my feet in the sand, and like if you do it enough, like some days I'll like stay up for days on end, like I won't even sleep. I'll go to moonlight. I love full moons, dude. I like love like charging with the moon, and like I'll go down the beach and like howl at the moon like a wolf, all psycho, and like jump in the water, and like times like that where like, you tie it into like I'll be on like no drugs at all. Like I'll ride my bike 15 miles. Like I'll be completely, you know, blood's pumping, and then go jump in the water, and I'm just like, whoa, dude, like, you know, the stars are really bright right now. But at the same time, I'm just like, this is what, you know, I've really, last few years, I've really discovered that and gone, you don't need drugs. The highest you can be is just on life. Your body naturally produces all these chemicals. A lot of people, you know, constantly smoke weed, and funny thing, you know, is your body actually naturally produces cannabinoids. It produces a CBN or something. I'm not sure the exact one, but you're like, why would you need, if you overdo that, your body's gonna have a hard time. You know, that's why, you know, you stop smoking weed after smoking it for 10 years and you're just like sluggish for a few days, because your brain's actually rewiring itself. So if you can be, if you know, think of like electrical circuit, like I do solar during the summer, and like if the wires are all frayed, it's all messed up, our solar sensor's not working, but everything's good, we just put a new one, it's all rocking, the system's rocking. Like, why would you want to be all frayed and fried, you know, and arcing, you know? Just be solid and like one connection, and like that's where you're tying into like really, you know, finding that you know, like you're finding that reality, like this is life, like we're living. Like you look at animals and they don't have worries, you know, they live off just like fight or flight, like, and then just like living, like, you know, I think that's what more people need to do, is go out and like spend time with animals and in nature, and actually like tuning in to our bodies. I do cold plunges, just you get a huge dopamine release, and just like nervous system, you know, I'll go in like for 5 minutes and completely reset my nervous system. And you could be having a terrible, stressful week and go do that, and you're just like boom, just dialed in again.
Totally. Well, at the gym that I work at, In Shape, they have a cold plunge there. It's not like the coldest cold plunge, but they got the sauna right next to it and the steam room. So I'll do a fucking killer workout, get all charged up, and then I'll go into the sauna for 30 minutes and just sweat bullets. And then in between the sauna, I go into the cold plunge for a couple minutes. Then I go into the steam room. Then back into the cold plunge. Then go in the hot tub.
Yeah.
Then in the cold plunge. And then when I leave,
supernatural,
dude, I fucking walk out of there just like levitating, just like feeling so killer. And as someone who's like, dude, like unfortunately, dude, like a lot of my life, I'm in a lot of chronic pain all the time, dude.
Yeah.
Like it sucks, but I'm just like, whoa, okay, well, this is where I have to go to like naturally. Instead of like waking up and like fucking chewing up some oxycodone, I can go into the steam room and exercise and work out and come out and get like that good kind of feeling. And it's like we can't always recreate that, and like it's like sometimes I might have to take a painkiller, but if I do, I wait till the end of the day, and like make sure that I'm doing everything within my power before that to kind of like stall that as long as I can.
Yeah.
Because dude, you feel all gourded and like you feel like a Daryl just walking around all like loaded and stuff. And I spent too many years feeling like that, so dude, you got a lot of wisdom, bro, for a young fella, dude. That's sick to hear that you're like kind of tapped into all these kind of, grander topics and just, life realizations and realities. So that's gonna to serve you real well. And one thing that I wanted to talk about, that's the first time I talked to you about your bike surfing thing. You had just done the Guinness Book of World Records, like record for the longest bike surfing. And, I know that there were some complications as far as like getting it legitimized. You had like to send off like a bunch of like parameters to get all these like things checked off before they like put you in there solid. But as you told me before the podcast, it didn't really pan out. But do you want to just explain a little bit about how that all went down, and like if you have plans in the future to try to like get back in there?
So I have a full plan of how I want to redo it. I actually want to have Guinness come out, and I got to find a sponsor to do it, because there's no way I'm dropping $10K to have some plaque, but a sponsor will easily do that, because that's a big thing for their company. I'll be wearing their product, or I'll be on their bike or whatever. I just got nowadays it's a lot. It's like reaching out. Like I feel like 10 years ago, it was like you're ripping, companies are gonna reach out to you, but it's like there's so much like endeavor in content and people producing content. Like I don't even think a sponsor me tape is a thing nowadays. It's like you gotta like be like, sponsor me, memoir, like send them like a resume, like stuff like you want to accomplish, like ideas. And like I've been doing that with companies. Like I imagine all these creative ideas I have, and your product is like some Shark Tank like proposal, like getting super weird like on the email. But like I'm all about it. I didn't do too well in school, but I love writing. So I've been writing stuff up, and I'm probably gonna dial that in and start reaching out and be like, hey, let's do this, or come do like a little fundraiser, like let's get local Ripper hit this thing. And like we have so many people in this community, everyone like donate $1, and like we could get it set up quick. It's just like, right, I got 28,000 followers on Instagram, let's get it going. Everyone donate $1. I'll stop it at the 10K, and we'll fucking get the world record guy out here. So there was like 50 check marks for the Guinness World Record thing. And like people have been asking me about like, is it official? And it's like bothering me. And I'm just like, no, people can try to do that. Like, let's see it. Like it took a lot to get them out there. Like, you got the plaque? And like, I'll talk to some of our pro riders and stuff, and I'll be like, no, I didn't really actually get the thing. But most people ask me, I'm just like, I'm just like, I don't want to go into it. I don't, I get, I don't really know you, dude. Just like, let's stick it in the news article. Yeah, it's there. But, there's like 50 check marks. And I went back on it like a month or two later. It didn't go in.
Can you describe really quick to the audience what exactly the record was for?
Yeah, so as long as distance traveled by bicycle surfing. And with the check marks and stuff, you the big part had to be no more than 0.01 gradient. And then on a track, it was like official laps, unofficial laps don't count. Like you had to go all the way around the track, and like the track is usually a spongy material. So it's really, with tires rolling on that, you slow down really quick. And no more than 0.01 gradient. Like you can pedal as fast as you can and hop up on the bike. And without, I could maybe pump and get around it, but I think that was another rule. No self-propulsion. Like you can't pump. And like I can pump down the road.
Sure.
But like that's all get the spongy just to make it harder. But the goal was, I think the record that was there was like 15 meters or something, like really whack. And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna go over Santa Cruz High. And I think we set it to do 100 meters, and I ended up doing like 200 meters or something like that.
So you smoked what they had already. You just didn't have it, all the little nuts and bolts behind.
And then they wanted witness reports, witness statements. And it was huge having the news people there, because that was like super solid evidence that you like really did it. It was like, all this AI stuff. It's like, no, dude, I got KSPW out there. They're filming it. Like they're not AI. They're like sick local news stories. So I made it, everything. And I kept going on because they have like a lot of submissions and stuff. And this is really why I want to get the official guy out there, because like on the spot, like you like the whole sign it or whatever, or like you'll sign it and you'll like have your plaque. Like they're like ready for you to do it. Like they know you're serious. And like if you're paying all this money to get it done, like certified. And that's really what I want to do, because like even if you get it done, like submission through their online thing, you get like this little mini plaque, and then like you get it official. I think they like dial it all in. Like you get like the full, you get your name in the book, and like I think you do with the online registry, but like they'll make it big. Like they'll probably post it on their thing, and that's like I'm really trying to get the outreach with it, but there's like 50 different check marks or so. I keep saying 50 because I'm not quite sure how many different rules there were, but witness statements, all this stuff. And it was like, like the little emoji, like the green check mark. So it had all these boxes, and I kept going on there, with the email I signed up with, and like looking at it, and like months went by and nothing happened. So I went back on, and I was like looking at it, and I was all bummed because like your submission wasn't valid. And I was like, oh, did I like totally fuck up on all the rules? And then to my surprise, there was one box that wasn't checked. There was like 49 boxes all checked off. And at the very bottom, it was like, there was not an official, it was like one big rule. There was not an official, it was a surveyor, like a ground surveyor that was supposed to come out and like measure it, like make sure it wasn't 0.01 gradient. And I thought because it was like a high school, like official track, like, they know that like it's probably written at the school that it's been measured, but and I did it from the 200 meter mark, and then to the end of the 200 meter, there's lines in the track, like without a full lap, they still do like relays and stuff, so they have those lines like marked off. But I guess because it wasn't like fully like painted off or something, like the surveyor didn't paint it off, and then also the weird rule that it had to be a full unofficial laps don't count. So I was like, okay. And it was like one big rule. And I think the main one was because the surveyor didn't come out and do it. And that was one of the rules. And I went past that because I was like, why? It's marked off on the track. So why do I need to have the dude come out? And then it ended up just not being official, but like still got a lot of outreach from from the thing. And like, if you would, ask other kids that bike surf, or like, which is like a weird thing. There's not a lot of kids in Santa Cruz that even do that, or will take it to the level I do. And, they would, they see what I do, they want to put it up to a battle. Like, it's pretty scarce territory there, I'm ready to defend the thing, Sure. So I want to take it to a racetrack. Laguna Seca is what I've been thinking, but I think once I get a sponsor going, like, and have like a big company, like that could be something for them. Yeah. I'm not sure what the rules are. They might not let bicycles on, but I could find a place. Like it might be like going to Texas. Like California is really weird about that stuff, but like other states are like chill. They're like some redneck, we all get them on the back and thing.
You can back surf on my territory.
Never seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh well, dude. I mean, fuck.
yeah.
You know, it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, it sucks that I guess, like looking back, but that you didn't get the plaque and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, you got the coverage from the local newspaper. You know that you have the ability to do it, and like, but yeah, at some point, you know, if you could get the sponsorship and the help, like that would really do good for your public profile to like, you know, to get that world record, you know, solidified. But dude, I mean, dude, you know,
well, it's just a piece of paper at the end of the day. It's just like, what? You know, at that point, it's just like validation, you know, and like everyone's so in tune with validation. Like,
yeah,
I think that's where a lot of the posting on Instagram every 5 seconds, like weird. I don't know if you know about like the OnlyFans shit nowadays.
Yeah, that's like disgusting.
Straight up pornos on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to Pornhub?
Yeah, I know. Seriously.
So weird.
Well, dude, that's got to be. I mean, dude. All right. So the social media thing, like, I don't know. Like, I started off with Facebook, and like Facebook was like, dude, it just started fucking taking up all my time, and especially when I was all broke off, like when I first started having really bad chronic pain, I would just spend like hours on that thing, and like, I'm just like, at some point, I'm like, this is lame. Like, why do I care what this stupid person is doing? Like, well, you know, like I wouldn't like trip too hard about like what other people thought about me, but I always thought it was kind of cool to like share like shit that I was interested or my opinion and stuff like that. But it's like now is like, dude, everyone's doing that, and it's like your voice is drowned out in the sea of like donkeys just like fighting for attention. And
dude, it's
like,
so weird. It's
yeah,
like
your
weird.
generation. I mean, dude. I mean, I feel bad, dude. Like, and like the chicks, like it went from like
decency's hard to find nowadays.
Dude, totally. There's no decency.
You know, chicks are posting like their whole nude body on their Instagram page, or like I don't even know. It's just like, okay, it's a cool outing, but like you're literally wearing like titty like straps. Like,
well, dude, they get attention from it, dude. It's twisted.
Exactly, like the validation.
Yeah,
and it fucks with them. Like, and I've been affected by some of that stuff, you know, like, but I don't really let it get to me. Like, you know, you get a video of 53 million views. You know, good, you know, hundreds, thousands of comments or whatever. And, you know, good percentage of those, I'd probably say close to like 80% of those are just like hate comments. And
for sure.
People like trashing you, and just like, you know, you read them and you're just like, oh, that's brutal. Like, you know, and it makes you really think like, what is wrong with humanity nowadays? Like, why would you want to see me? Like, well, I was waiting for the car to pull out. Like, I wanted to tie into this because this is funny. I want to roll out a video on Instagram where I go through that and just like I'll relay back on them. Like, what's wrong with you people? This guy, you know, breaker 568 wants to see me get plowed by a truck, and then, you know, Johnny Schmoes 420 wants to, you know, he's all, you know, balls like that, this kid needs to join the military, or like, you know, a lot of funny stuff is like, oh, I can't believe he didn't have a wheelbarrow with him for his balls. Like, all these funny ball
That's kind of those are kind of sick. You know, like some people are pretty like, there's dude, like who needs comedians these days with some of the shit, like the funny comments people are posting. But then the trolls, it's like, dude, people are just saying stuff to be like edgy or fucking to get like a rise, and it's like, like this
feed off it. They're like negative people.
Totally. And like, dude, if you saw this person in real life, like guaranteed 85% of them would never say half the shit. Like, dude, now Facebook and like all the stuff, like anytime anything gnarly happens, like in the news, it's like people are like, oh, I wish that guy fucking died sooner. Like, it's like, dude, or like, oh, thank God that person got fucking shot in the face. And it's like, dude, like, what the fuck is going wrong?
Like, if you saw that person with his family or whatever, would you say the same? Just go up to him on the side of the road and be like, oh, dude, I wish you got shot in the head.
Yeah.
Like, no, you wouldn't. Like, there's still some decency in humanity, but at the same time, it's like people get on the internet and think like that's not gonna affect anyone,
right?
But like, it's terrible. It's like a huge epidemic. Like, kids will and and girls and, you know, men, anyone, you know.
Yeah, well, it used to be like that.
All sorts of stuff.
That like people were usually like more so than with men, but like they were like concerned about women and their body image, about like you know, seeing like what the media was portrayed. But now it's like tying back with all these like fucking gym bro like influencer like roid guys. It's like now these guys with now these are dudes looking at their phone and going like, oh, I need to look like that guy. Oh, my traps, like, oh, like it's like, dude, like, come on, dude, like, fuck, it's just it's sad.
Down a hill and see what they think when they get to the bottom.
Yeah, it's sad, and like I don't want to add my voice to the chorus of negativity. And so like, if anything, I'm more feeling like, damn, dude, like, I don't think this guy's an idiot for wanting to feel that way. I just more feel like sorry for them.
Yeah, I do. I feel I do the same thing. I'll be rolling through hate comments and stuff, and like most of them are like weird accounts. Like, you know, every once in a while I could click on it and be like, oh, this is this dude's account. But a lot of them are like, people like make little fake accounts so they can go on there and like do all their trolling, and then they go back to their real account. Like, they'll probably see my post like on the real account, and they'll be like, okay, boom, switch over, and then like read some nasty comment.
Yeah.
And like, that's like the part that like really is sickening to me. It's like, you think that's like you're not saying something, but even if it's some random account, like, that is a human that said that. Like, AI robot can't type you know, complex sentences with spelling errors, you know? You know, it's just like, okay, Will, why, what did that do for you as far, you know, and making you look like an idiot for one, but at the same time, like, that's kind of what some people are as, like, humans, and you can, like, see it in a conversation with someone, but, like, at the same time, they'll reel it back in. Like, they'll see you're affected, like you're hurting their feelings, and especially adults, you know, like bullying with kids, like they don't really kind of understand that, you know, emotional aspect. But like adults, they have really good understanding of like, that's upsetting me, and that's like not okay. And on the internet, it's just like curveballs and like fastballs, like right at you, just like bink, and then it's just like, I don't care, dude. I'm not fazed by that at all. Like, that's, you know, like tying back what you said, like, I almost feel bad for them that like that's their excitement. Like, they don't have the, you know, aspect to tap into something that really gets you going. Like, you know, I like fishing and stuff. Like, that's, like, I'd probably say that's like my funnest time, most zen times, when I'm out fishing. I got my paddleboard and the kelp bags, like, totally tuning in nature, like reading pelicans, like, oh, there's probably fish over there, like dialing it in. You think like the pelicans, like on his Instagram, going like, oh yeah, Brock's a cook, he's bombing fucking Miramar, like, beat it. No, dude, they will like quack at you and it'll be sick and you'll be stoked. But like, and we are animals as humans, and I think we need to just, you know, it's weird. A podcast, sometimes I think like, let's do questions, let's do this. But like, I think sometimes a good way to voice like what you think about the world, and like, you know, people might see me and be like, well, a kid's like kind of excelled, is doing weird stuff that other humans don't do. And then like, you know, voice it like, yeah, well, let's like embrace this and not like throw around hate comments, and just like maybe voice your opinion. Like, voice your opinion. Don't just be like, oh, I wish I got hit by a car, but maybe like, well, if he was more aware and like had a road blockade or like visible signs of his buddies at the intersections, not like, oh, I hope someone wasn't there so I got hit by a car. It's just like,
be productive with
what do
your
you mean?
work.
Like, yeah, like, what do you mean? Like, like, that doesn't even make sense. Like,
they're trying to be funny.
Yeah,
they're trying to be funny.
To throw, and honestly, it's just like, do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like you're helping me get views. You know?
For sure. Well, that's the world we live in, and like, you know, for all the people who like want to go viral, it's like that famous saying is like, be careful what you wish for, because a lot of the time the most famous, like, now everyone wants to be famous, and like if you ask most famous people, it's like they're like, dude, once I got famous, then fucking life started to suck.
Yeah, like you get so distanced from reality, and like, I wasn't even trying to go viral. That Stanton Street was the viral hit, got 54.6 million views, and it was like wicked. overnight, like I woke up and I had like, you know, plus 1,000 followers. And then throughout the week, throughout that month, I went from like 2,000 followers to 28,000 followers. And I was just like, this is cool, but like, you know, for a gram, you know, I've got 200 followers on Instagram, and like, I wish I had at least 1,000 followers. It's like, dude, don't worry about that, because like those 200 people that are following you right now, they're all your family members, everyone that's super cool, and they can comment, and they can see all your stuff and message you. And like, it's really cool. Technology is like, we don't even have to like write letters anymore. It's like pretty cool. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, kid, but you get all these followers, you're gonna have, you know, like 80% of them are just be people talking smack. So it's just like, don't even care. Like, my big thing is do it for you. Like, if you're gonna go out and do something, like, don't be looking over your shoulder like, oh, did you see that? Did you see that? Like, and that's how you eat shit and just like bail all gnarly, because you're looking over your shoulder, like after you just landed a big spin off a, you know, jump, and then in the snow, and you stack on a piece of ice and just fall right on your face because you're like looking over at the chairlift or something.
Yeah.
It's just like same thing. It's like, cool, you can post stuff on Instagram, people want to see it, but don't go on your phone every 5 minutes and go, you know, if someone really left a nice comment and, you know, someone you actually want to talk to, you'll probably see them out, you're walking down Pleasure Point, and they're like, dude, I saw your thing, I commented on it, and you'll be like, oh, sick, you know, and like, what'd you say? And they'll be like, oh yeah, I thought it was rad, good thing for the community, you know, stoked you secured a world record or something. And then it's just like, physical interactions are so much more valuable than, you know, a text, you know.
Yeah.
And
from a stranger.
Yeah. I had a cool experience right when I got the world record, or presumed. We did like a big group ride, and we were doing like a trial ride before with like some of the kids that came out the day before. And I was biking down the road, and I was kind of in the front of the pack, and just some random dude I didn't know one bit, just, you know, local, probably Santa Cruz old timer. He's biking down, he's coming right at us. Like, a lot of people would like freak out, and he just rode right into the crowd, and he stuck his hand out, and I went to give him a high five, and he just like looked right at me. He's all, congrats on that record, man. And I was just like, yeah, that was so epic. Like,
that's dope.
I could have thousands of, you know, weird comments on Instagram, but that one moment, that made it, you know.
Yeah.
You know, older folk, you know, that are actually like reaching out and seeing that, you know, because like back in the 80s and stuff, bike surfing was actually kind of a thing. So like they actually understand it, and then it like went away, and then it came back. So everyone's just like, you ride a skateboard, ride a surfboard. And then that's what they want to tap into, is like growing up in Santa Cruz, being like a pretty good surfer and good skateboarder, good snowboarder, all this stuff. And then just like not really throwing it all away. Like, I still do all those stuff. I still really like to do them. Like I said, I just came back from Montana snowboarding. But it's like, dude, the wickedest stuff, like you're throwing your talent away. Like, don't do that. Like, you just got to be down here surfing. Like, I'm like, okay, how many kids in Santa Cruz surf? Like, every kid surfs. Like, how many kids surf on top of their bikes? Like, no one.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, dude, I want to be that guy. Like, I want to take it there. I want to use all these different skills and like take it to the next level. I literally had like some of the best surfers, like well-renowned, like professional surfers from Santa Cruz, just be like, oh, wasted talent. Like, and just like throwing those curveballs on Instagram, like, you know, and out there. I'm just like, what are you doing, dude? Like, like,
there's a lot of hate. There's that's
so
part of
whack.
what they grew up under. Like, if you were killing it at anything, you're gonna probably hear about how much you weren't killing it from a generation above you. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about that. No, I think you're killing it. And like I said, you know, it's like, it's fun to talk with you, and you got like killer like perspective, and you're chasing your dream and stuff. And I'm glad that you're like, you know, implementing as much safety as you can into it, because from an outside perspective, it's kind of like, holy shit, like that guy, you know, it's there's a high risk factor with what you're doing, but Yeah, dude. I think that this has been a great talk. And is there anything else that you wanted to dive into, or kind of did you want to thank anybody while you're here, or like reach out, or just get anything off your chest?
Shit. Yeah, some motivational words. If you can dream it, you can do it. If you got written down on paper, do it. If you don't have just in your mind, just a thought, go out and try it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard to put in perspective, but you know, there's so many ideas that you could think of in a day, in a year, and when you don't do them, that'll drive you nuts. I do that a lot. I have a lot of ideas on my head, and I think that's what drives me and the passion. But when you check those bulletins off and you actually do them, you get more of that fuel, and you learn that balance of creativity and genius ideas where you're like playing with fire. At that point, you're like, you know, when I get my creative mind, it's like you're creating, you're like Edison, or like, you know, the science guy, you know, you're just like getting into it. So just like tap into that aspect and be creative. I think everyone needs to be more creative and get out there and do it.
Yeah, the famous words is think it, feel it, do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, writing it down, you know, you there are, you know, perspectives about the nature of reality that says that we are creating reality through some kind of holographic process through our brains, and that we can do anything. Like, dude, how if you somebody at surfing chopo, dude, they surfing like 50-foot chopo and just like getting piped and fucking coming out like with killer style, and like they're like, yeah, guys might eat shit doing it, but it's like, how are guys even doing that?
Yeah,
because they fucking believe in themselves, and they just like, they're like, I'm doing it, and like they wouldn't let anyone tell them anything different. So dude, keep doing the same. Don't listen to the haters, and keep blowing up, and you know, fucking I'll be here watching and rooting you on, because it's sick. I'm psyched. But all right, you guys, well, this is a good time to peel off. We had a great chat with Brock Johnson, bike surfer, great human, wise beyond his years. And we're going to sign off for the Santa Cruz, the Split Peak Soup podcast. We're presented by Santa Cruz Vibes magazine. They have a podcast network we're involved in. So pick up a copy of that magazine when it comes out, and stay tuned for more tasty servings of Split Peak Soup.
Yeah, Neil.
You.